Jethmalani.
Sir, I'm grateful to you for better late than never. But I must say that you have a promise to me to fulfill. The promise that was made to me last evening for my coming today instead of yesterday.
No.
You recall?
That see, because you came and you want to
Sir,
speak, I said it can be given only today. Now today, in the scheme of things, you have
sir,
5 minutes.
kindly see if you are giving me only 5 minutes.
Then speak. No introduction. You start your speech.
That's right. Thank you. Sir, first of all, this is not a debate, and I have not come here to cross swords with anybody present in this House. I recognize the intellectual superiority of everybody present here, but I wish to use this little time that I have got to expound my own ideas about Dr. Ambedkar and to pay him the tribute which I have been thirsting to pay all my life, and I have been paying repeatedly every time that I have got an opportunity. Sir, I believe that Dr. Ambedkar was one of the greatest constitutional experts that India has ever produced, and a tribute to his linguistic facility is evidenced by the fact that he was made the chairman of the drafting committee of the Constitution. So, because he had a control over language which the entire Constituent Assembly could not claim for itself, in spite of the fact that there were large number of bureaucrats who were assisting the Constituent Assembly in drafting the Constitution of India. Sir, the Constitution that he drafted was the product of the great education that, unlike many leaders in this country, he had received at the University of Columbia, and education which he imbibed for 3 years and then came to India and got into teaching. But, sir, again, the same university in Columbia, after his work was over in the Constituent Assembly, they invited him all over again to come to Columbia and to receive the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws from that university, and which they gave it to him 1952. And the greatest cause of that recognition and honor done to Dr. Ambedkar was the work which he had done on the drafting and the promulgation of the Constitution of this country. Sir, with the little time that I have, I wish to talk about three aspects. One is the secularism, which runs through almost every part of the Constitution of India. Sir, secularism is not a negation of religion. Secularism is ultimately the triumph of education over illiteracy. It is the triumph of knowledge over ignorance. It is the triumph of science over religion. And, sir, it is so difficult to write it in the text of the Constitution. That is why during the hated emergency also, somebody thought that this word must be put in the preamble of the Constitution. Now, the preamble of the Constitution containing a word does not change the internal contents of the document at all. It is only an aid to construction. But the secularism had already been created in the Constitution of India, and it was only made clear that secularism is a very, very important part of the Constitution of India. And, sir, the secularism means only one thing. It means the efficiency and superiority of education over illiteracy. It means the superiority of reason over blind faith, and it means the superiority of science over religion. And sir, I believe that Dr. Ambedkar's greatest virtue and achievement was that he gave to India a secular constitution. After all, make no mistake that most of our laws are also based on religion. But when he introduced an article that India will have a uniform civil code someday, he was telling the nation that your ultimate object is to create uniformity of laws and override every religious text to the contrary. Religion was to be tolerated, but not to be encouraged. Sir, the fairest assessment of religion, I would request everybody, and if you can manage, there's a wonderful book which must be read. The book is called Religion Gone Astray. There are 3 co-authors of that book. The one is a pastor, Don Mackenzie, a Christian. The second
Other
is
speakers
Rabbi
should forego their time, sir.
Ted Falcon. And the third is Imam Jamal Rahman. All these 3 great intellectuals have written one book which I suggest should be bought and distributed to every member of parliament, whether in this house or in the other, and must be made a compulsory textbook in every school and college in this country. So, sir, this is one great tribute which I wish to pay to Dr. Ambedkar. Sir, the second is, sir, that he definitely deserved the kind of performance they showed in the Constituent Assembly. That is why the Columbia University, where he had been educated for 3 years from 1916 to 1919, invited him in 1952 again. They invited him to go back to that university and receive from that university the honor of a degree of Doctor of Laws,
Please conclude.
which was given to him in 1952, and it is
Now please
well known
conclude.
that he was invited and conferred that great honor was
Okay.
the role that he performed in drafting the Constitution of India.
Okay, now
Sir,
please.
one more minute and I have finished. Sir, it is true that he finally opted for Buddhism. He asked his followers to go in for the religion of Buddha. But sir, one thing must be conceded, that Buddhism is the only religion whose prophet founded that religion only for the salvation of humanity from pain and suffering. I would request everybody to read one great poem, The Light of Asia, written by Sir Edwin Arnold, in which the last stanza in that poem is, "We are the voices of the wandering wind that mourn for rest, but rest can never find. Just as the wind is, so is mortal life, a sigh, a sob, storm and strife." And sir, with that,
Okay,
he told
thank you.
us that the purpose of all law and legislation in parliament is ultimately to reduce human pain and suffering. And it is Dr. Ambedkar alone who stands out as the great lighthouse of knowledge and learning for us to follow that great ideal of
Thank
his.
you very much.
And thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for the wonderful speech.